You're gonna be up now. So
Let's start by talking about Game of Thrones.
Why? Okay.
It's sick.
So it gets you into it.
That's nothing like what the people seem to want to want. It's an epic.
Quite a lot of
TV.
them like Game of Thrones anyway.
And
so
I
it doesn't
don't
matter.
know any of it yet. Well, I know.
What's nice is it's like a
Half of it.
group of like ridiculously different ages, like young people,
Oh, on
old
YouTube.
people. No, on the
Hey, Barry.
on the Facebook thing.
What?
I don't know what.
I don't know. Andy just put his hand up.
Just a second, it's still
It's
like,
like, do you,
Oh, right.
you ask a question.
I thought he was like, I'm gonna bitch slap
I
you
can't.
so hard.
I can't read it much now. What do you want to talk about?
Use your
first?
phone light or something.
Oh, we started?
No,
Yeah,
it's
it's recording.
recording.
God, how embarrassing.
I'll cut it out. And I'll only do conversations.
It's really cold. Oh, that's fine.
Personally, I definitely believe in the Big Bang Theory.
Okay.
So I definitely don't believe that there was a God that created the
Although
world.
I always wonder, the Big Bang Theory, yeah, I love it, definitely like a possible thing. But if that's what like started all the planets and everything, like what was before it? Like seriously, nothing is not possible.
Like from a scientifical standpoint, yeah, it's the Big Bang.
Well, they think that the Big Bang, the world, the universe, like gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it gets so big it can't support its own weight, so it subtracts again into an infinitely, just one super black hole, which is like an infinite point of all the atoms, and it blows up again.
Yeah.
So maybe there was another universe before this one.
All right.
Maybe
true.
we were the first one.
There's another theory which says that the universe is a consciousness which is expanding. Yeah.
No, I just love how we've gone from religion to.
No,
science.
it's still connected.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, but we can get back to religion
Yeah.
when we need to. But it's like they say that it could be two things. I know there's other things that people say, but like what I've picked up on it, which people have said as theories, is one, it's a consciousness, so it's like energy, and I'm trying to think how to explain that even further. And it's like constantly expanding, but not to the extent that there's more energy being created, but to the extent where it's getting bigger, but no energy's being lost and no energy's being created.
Well, that's physics, isn't it? That you can never create energy and you can never destroy it. It just changes into different forms.
That's the thing, and people are saying it's expanding, yet nothing new is being added and nothing old is being added.
Yeah, just making more things.
Yeah, and there's another theory which says that the universe is a projection,
Yeah, I heard about this one, but I don't.
which I thought was quite cool.
Do you mean like literally like a projector
It's literally like
projecting it
I'm trying to
onto the
think
wall
how to explain it.
almost?
If you imagine a projector shining on a wall,
Okay.
and the image itself is actually slowly getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And because the universe, they think it's projection and getting bigger and bigger and bigger, it's expanding into itself, so it's kind of doing a full circle
I see.
constantly. So it gets so big that it kind of starts again slowly.
Collapses.
and
So it's like
collapses
having
and
it
then-
inside
yeah.
a cylinder. It goes from one side and it goes round.
Yeah.
Kind of goes.
Yeah.
I
So
think
they
it's
think
not.
that's how
It's
the
not
Big
like
Bang
that. You know
was.
how? So we have a star, and when it runs out of fuel, it collapses on itself and it
Yeah.
makes a red dwarf, and then a white dwarf, and then a neutron star.
Yeah.
That's A level of physics.
Okay.
And so eventually they'll get to a point where every single star in the universe turns into a black hole, and then it sucks up every single planet and moon and asteroid
Hmm.
until all that's left is black holes. Until finally it's just one super black hole, and then that collapses on itself and it starts again. That's what I think.
Hmm.
That's logical. That's the
Yeah.
only one that I think
That's
like.
the logic. Yeah.
That's the only one
makes
which is
lots of
like.
sense.
That's the only one you could like prove by like seeing what we already know.
There's a theory which Einstein had, and everyone was disproving it because it just didn't make sense. But one physicist who was really, I forgot his title, but he's like experiments with kind of atoms, quantum physics, and energy. And he was saying how one of Einstein's theories, which was disproved and ignored because it didn't make sense, was the fact that black holes take in energy, but they don't destroy energy.
Yeah,
But-
it's held
they
in
re-
an infinitely small
Yeah.
point of mass.
And it's recycled into a new form.
Yeah, well, that's what a black hole does. It's so dense that it sucks things in. It's such a great amount of gravity. It's not literally a huge hole. It's a point of like, it'd be like holding a mountain, the weight of a mountain in a pebble. And because it's so heavy, obviously it has a gravitational pull. That's why there's no light around a black hole, because it's so heavy it can pull in light.
That's why they say if you were to approach a black hole, as you go, the darkness would expand and all the light bending around it would make like a circle basically of light, so you'd see yourself and everything else around this thing and back at you.
I see. It's not like you don't get sucked into anything. You just get flattened. Like it's like you just get condensed to such a small amount of mass that's pushed into this unbelievably small point.
It's the world's best car crash.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's such a good way of putting it. Yeah.
But anyway, back to the topic.
Religion.
My view on religion is it's good. It's good, but it's devastating.
It creates wars, though.
Yeah, it's devastating. Like, you can't stop it from having wars unless there is like just one where everyone feels the same thing. But at the same time, it's good because everyone, even if they didn't want to admit it, wants to rely on something. If you think about it, if they have a chance to have something made for them, like a ready meal, a fire, lighter, you're going to have a lighter instead of hit these two stones together. So in the end, they always want, like, oh, we want someone watching over us. That's brilliant. It gives us hope.
It's a double-edged sword because it creates wars, but at the same time it gives people hope. Yeah. So it's both positive and negative at the same time without actually trying to be.
If people are allowed to interpret their own way and just pray or whatever by themselves, that's fine. But when people like the Pope, I'm not saying he does, but for example, like a Pope can manipulate thousands of people that have the same God to do what he wants.
He has the power to do that.
Yeah, so he's not actually. So people, they're not doing it because they're Christian. They think it's their religion.
That's true,
because who they think has a connection with God tells them what to do.
Because he could say something which is his own opinion and then say, oh, this is what God told me to say because this is how I think and how I think is wired to God.
I suppose it's not the religion or the people itself, it's the enforcing of the guidelines they believe. They try and impose them, or they think other people are sinners or they're wrong. If they just said, this is what I want to do, then it probably wouldn't cause quite so many. Like me going to, Christian.
Yeah.
Like, you should be Christian, pray every morning, be good. If I was like, oh, I'm Christian, you'd be like, cool.
I think what they should do is they should give.
Not Jewish, but
no. They should give a set guidelines of what you should do. But I don't know. It shouldn't be like, oh, you're punished for it, or I don't know.
It shouldn't be so black and white.
No, that's it.
Good. I like how in the Life of Pi, like you've seen Life of Pi, how he has his main religion, and then he finds all the others, and he goes, oh, that's really interesting to me. He follows like 4 or 5 religions at one point, like all at one time. And so he considered himself a Christian, Muslim kind of that's quite interesting.
I'm quite like that, because I was baptised, brought up in the Church of England, and then I became agnostic because I don't want to restrict myself to one God. Because every religion has a different God, and if you do die, and if there is a God, what happens if he's the wrong God, or maybe the Catholic one is the one that was right? Do you know what I mean? And it's like,
well, you shouldn't be
same God.
Yeah, it's the same God.
But with Hindus, for example, they have 7 different gods which represent different things. Are you saying that? Can you say that that's all the same person? That's why I get confused with it, and because of that, I'm agnostic. So I believe there's something there.
You believe there's something there?
I believe there's something there, but I'm not going to say, oh, it's a god.
I 100%. I'm sure that there's definitely nothing out there afterwards. Just have to live a good enough life to leave an impact whilst you're here, like Achilles.
No,
that's a good way.
I think I agree with Paul. I'm not quite so. There's definitely something there. I just don't know what to choose to believe. I like how science explains things, but I'm quite happy to believe there could be a greater influence. Like how Barry.
Yeah, it's alright.
Can I borrow the bottle opener?
No, you may not.
I find it's best to be insightful when you're a little bit drunk.
Yeah, that's true. With me, I can't have too much because then I can't function as well.
Next question. Or are we carrying on?
Keep that in the
either or. If you want to carry on, then
Sorry, Barry.
It's alright.
There's no real debate over this, so maybe we should move on to something else.
Okay, well, there is a debate over this, but
Well, no, well, yeah.
to an extent there is, because everyone...
That one's the most difficult one.
Yeah,
If
that's
it was a
it.
debate you can finish.
You can't prove it right or wrong.
Exactly.
There's no like definite answer.
That's true.
There's no like
I think-
insightful wisdom. None of us have died.
No,
thank God, so
obviously.
none of us were there at the start of
I think,
Big Bang if that did happen.
yeah, pretty much for all of these, we can't really come to a conclusion
Yeah.
because we're all going to have different
I would never.
ideas.
My point is, I would never say to someone like, I 100% believe the Big Bang happened. End of. I'm just saying, I think that's the most realistic one.
Yeah.
And I would never say there's definitely not a God to someone else. I just personally not going to waste my time with it.
What's good is the fact that we all have different ideas, and you're not just turning to Nathan and going, well, that's stupid.
What
Do you know
what
I mean?
would you do
that
if...
wouldn't be progressive.
What would you do if, say, a person peered through the clouds and went, I am God and you've all been...
I'd be so excited to ask him questions, just like,
I'd question
why
it.
did you let people not believe you? How did you create the Earth? Why did you create the Earth?
So you wouldn't
Are you happy
freak
with it?
out and be like, oh my God, I was wrong, I'm sorry, or you
No,
wouldn't be
that
like,
would just be-
no, that's not right, it's a hologram.
I'd be
Yeah,
so
I'd question
excited to know exactly what I've always wanted to know. But this is your chance to ask what every great scientist, king, queen, prime minister has ever wanted to ask. Like you can ask and get a definite answer. You'd be like, I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm so sorry, don't kill me. That's just not going to anywhere. Is
No,
it?
that's true. I question them and go, how do I know you're not fake, and how do I know you're not someone with like advanced technology that's just doing this to convince
How
me
do I
otherwise?
know this isn't a prank show?
Do you know what I mean? I would question it, and then once they did something to prove that they were God, like maybe made something appear which I thought impossible to ever see or something.
A sausage tree.
Yeah, something like
yeah,
that.
something like a sausage tree. That's
Sausage
an excellent
tree.
example.
Right,
Something
appears
random,
in front of me,
but-
then I'll be like, okay, you're God, or you're all powerful, kind of thing.
Almighty.
Okay. Well, I guess we can continue to the next one. Do you
Okay.
want me to pause it and then tell you
No,
how long that was,
carry
or
on.
should we just keep
Yeah,
going?
keep going. Will the camera light flash when we run out of battery?
Yeah. Oh, it'll just close up.
It's actually on. Oh, right.
It'll close up when it runs out battery or it runs out memory.
Keep going, Camera.
No, it's cool.
I think that's what defines you as you sometimes as well, Andy. It's good because you don't like staying in the middle being, oh, I want to believe but I also want this. You say, nope, this is my belief. That's what I go with.
Oh.
You like definite answers.
I do. I
Which
like
is good.
conclusions. I don't like faffing around. Okay, no.
You need to find out the end of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So bad.
Okay. What defines you as a person?
How you deal with situations.
That's I like yeah.
If people can rely on you.
I guess.
It's easy to say I'll do this, I'll do that when there's no consequences, but when it actually comes down to the boil, say you've been in a car crash or someone's lost something, you get people that panic, you get people like, right, we're doing this, we're going to sort it out.
The leaders among followers kind of thing.
Leaders of
Do you? And what sense are we taking this question? Is
It
in
could go
like,
in any. It can go in any direction.
But I mean, is it in what defines you as a person?
What do you
like
think-
compared to
what do
animals?
you-
So what
no.
makes you different from monkeys?
What do you think
or
of what,
other people?
what aspects about you define yourself as a person? So how do you think that you create your individuality?
by your actions, how you treat others.
I'm
Because
trying
only
to
other
Thoughts.
people can judge.
it's really broad because you could say your experiences. Also.
Well, that's what would
to an
have made
extent.
me who I am, but who I am wouldn't be my experiences.
That's true.
It would be
Yeah, you can't choose your experience.
Because you could say you define yourself, but some people could say that
Yeah,
how people perceive me is how I am.
yeah.
although if it's your actions, surely you could also. It might not be who you are. You could do something to try and show people you're something else.
That's just attention
Oh.
seeking.
Oh,
True.
Your-
I suppose that is
I'd-
you. isn't it?
I'd
It's
say
not
your,
you, but
I'd say your thoughts define who you are, because how you think will define what you do and how you act.
True.
Yeah, well, you could think like I'd love to do that, but you'd be way too scared.
that would be you, though, wouldn't
But
it?
yeah, that would be you, which
Oh.
defines who you are.
Oh.
Yeah, but people wouldn't know. They would just think you're boring and scared.
I guess you can also fake, well, not fake, but kind of like give yourself false hope and say, I can do this even though I'm really scared.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's difficult. Because we live in. Am I allowed to say where we live? Because we live in the United Kingdom.
Yeah, they know that.
And it's a fairly safe and civilized country. We don't live in Afghanistan or
No.
Turkey or somewhere where there's a civil war. So
But
we don't have great everyday difficulties where people can say, oh, he's brave, or he's a coward, or he looks after people, or he abandons people.
But surely, that's again your
that's
actions.
other people's
your
views
actions,
of who you are.
Your actions create who you are. So, like in the past,
Yeah.
Richard the Lionheart, because he was brave, or
Well, I just think like you could easily sit here now and say, everyone probably thinks that person's very brave, but then
that's
it's
their
like
perception, I guess.
Yeah, but the only way you can actually define who you are is by real life situations and what you do.
But surely, you're saying what defines you as actions, but that's
Your
just
thoughts
what
create your actions.
what other people define as, like, what
They
other
could
people
go
see
there,
of you is only your actions. So surely you could be a whole other thing, like through your own thought processes, but you're acting.
But that's the sad thing. People can be really clever, really nice, but they could in
Be
2
seen.
seconds someone could judge you for doing so, and you could
Mm.
fuck up your entire. Everyone will judge you from that one moment. So,
Yeah.
you could actually have not meant to do that, or that wasn't how you meant people to think you were doing that. So all you can do in life is just be sensible, try and do the right thing all the time, try and keep it cool.
Because
Try and let your intelligence shine through.
another aspect of it is you can say your thoughts define who you are. So if you think positively, you'll be seen as a positive person because you do positive things.
Yeah.
And
well.
your view on life.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
true.
that definitely makes
That is true, actually.
some people will be
Make
driven
money
to
for
money.
bitches.
Yeah, make money for. That's definitely
It's one way of putting it. Yeah.
Which I think
Yeah.
is something
Okay, I
that can
think.
define who you.
Yeah.
You might be like, oh no, I'm not worth it. I'm just gonna end my life.
Hmm.
That's who you are, I suppose.
Yeah.
But
Also, even though you've done something, if you're a strong person, you say, I'm going to go out again and I'm going to try and make a better impression next time.
yeah.
So you shouldn't just let yourself be let down on one mistake. People who try hard, once they fail, they're great people. Like, there's a Scottish person who got inspired by seeing a spider try to build a web, and it failed 7 times to build the web. It's a really famous story. The Scottish king, and he was leading a rebellion against the English, and he was hiding in a cave after losing a battle, and he watched a spider trying to build a web, and it failed again, and failed again.
Oh, I've heard
and it finally
this.
built the web,
This is
and it was
cool.
a really good, strong web. And he was inspired to keep trying and trying and trying. Eventually, he beat the English. It's not a true story.
No, it's
Oh.
I know, but I've heard it. I don't know who the name is because I'm really bad with names.
That'd be a really good true story.
It would be.
It's like a lot of things. It's not true, which is sad.
I can imagine him looking at it and going, huh, yeah, I can beat them.
It's the stories you learn in school assemblies. They're meant to inspire you,
Hmm.
and then you don't remember them until years after you finish your exams.
Yeah, that's true.
I wish I had remembered that.
Let's see what else. What?
Fucking see.
I know, it's horrible. Right.
I always get, for some reason, I always think Barry needs glasses. I don't know why. I always get the impression, like, does he have contacts in?
So there's these
He doesn't.
16 different types of people.
Yep. I
Are
know
they-
you can't solidly define a person by
Is it 16?
the type, but yeah, there are 16.
I thought it was like 10.
16 base kind of essences of what people are and how they think and function and process. Obviously everyone's individual, but they're like kind of the base mentality and kind of how people interact and see things to an extent. Again, it's not 100%, but...
Shall we put a log on the fire?
Yeah, I was
Sugar
thinking
nut.
that. Oh, sugar
I'm
nut.
gonna hold it.
Okay.
Lazy soul. I'm gonna pass big run on.
Oh, nature versus nurture, which is the correct one? That's quite good.
What? Like if you hear a baby crying, you should let it cry itself out.
No, it's more like kind of like you're born with who you are,
Yeah.
and your parents try and nurture you to their way of thinking. But at the end of the day,
You're
Are you
definitely not born who you are.
oh,
Like I don't know what you're asking.
what?
To your
What
parents,
about
if you're a different upbringing, you'll be different.
No, what I'm saying is that are you defined by
your surroundings or by
trying to think
people
how to-
telling you what to
I
believe?
can't think how to
No,
phrase
the
it.
nature versus nurture thing is about.
Can you explain it to him? So I can't think how to word it.
No, I think Andy does understand. I think we should explain it.
Am I
It's
explaining it wrong?
nature versus nurture is like what we were talking about, what defines you as a person. But are people born and the person they're going to be is like almost set, like instincts,
Or they get changed by other people?
or
Oh, I
do their
see,
life
yeah.
experiences change who they are?
Yeah, that's it.
So someone growing up in a bad home, are they going to be a bad
Oh.
person?
Ah.
Or is nature
Or is it-
going to make them a good person because it's what they are inside?
Wow. I think obviously
It's a little bit of both, I'd say.
say you're born, you know that you can tell that child's going to grow up to be tall and strong. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you grow up knowing you're going to be tall and strong, you're going to be doing sport all the time. You're going to be doing like active things. You're going to grow up in a lifestyle where like, you're expected to be big and strong. So like your nurturing can be based around your nature. Or if you
But-
see someone that's small and weak, but maybe good at singing. So like their parents say, well, we'll send them singing lessons. So like I think the nurture is usually based on what you can already tell from a person.
But what
But
if that
obviously-
small person saw a big person went, I want to be big?
But-
Then that's their nature. That's their self-determination. That's not like a parent telling you what to do.
That's them seeing the world and
Yeah,
changing.
the way I see that question is like you grow up like if you're good at something you're likely to do it, but then you can also have outside like peer pressure, like your dad wants you to be good at that, so he'll make you train until you're good at it, or until you turn around and smack him in the
but
face.
This is how I see it. If you're born with let's say as an orphan, you get parents to upbring you. When you turn 20, would you be the same person then? If you were by
parents.
yourself than if you had parents? Because let's say, for example, you grew up
Yeah.
and you had parents and they told you to do this, when actually you know deep inside that you know what you want to
Oh
do.
well,
Would you end up in the same places
No, because-
and like the same things?
we live in a society where if you have money, the fact is you probably will go to better school, or you'll have more privileges in life.
Yeah, but but people learn in different ways. You can be streetwise, you could be clever in other aspects of things. I'm going into another topic here, probably, but
No, nurture is definitely a massive factor in life.
so would you say it's stronger than nature? Because like again with the orphan thing, you can grow up with parents and they could tell you, oh, you should like sports, you should like these things, but actually deep down you're like, no, I don't want to do that, so you rebel against it
Well, like
and end up in the same way that you could have been when you were an orphan, having your own decisions.
if a question like that, if you lived 200 years ago, you'd say it's definitely more nature. But because we live in such like a civilized world where, you know, if you have parents and you have access to a doctor and stuff, it doesn't matter what your nature is, you're pretty much guaranteed to be alright nowadays. So nowadays it's definitely more about nurture, because your life is, 18 years of education at least, and then most people go to university and get more education. So it's like nurture. Where we lived 100 years ago, when it wasn't like education, it was all about if you're born strong, you're going to live.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Or if you're born weak, you're going to die.
There is a balance, but at the end of the day, in the society we live in now, is more nurture-based than nature-based.
But then,
is what you're
how
saying.
can you define the differences between nature and nurture? Are we growing up thinking, I
Na-
want to nature and nurture?
Nature is like your kind of essence, and kind of like
But I mean,
you're an aggressive person, you're this kind of person, for example.
but I mean, you can't
And-
you can't say being brought up in a good family is going to make you do well, and like what your goals are in life, are they because people have told you, oh, you need to grow up and have a wife, you need to be successful, or is it your nature saying you need to like carry on your family, you need to like finding the best mate in Animal Kingdom? Or
I don't know. It's quite confusing.
I'm trying to. It's hard. Yeah, it's
How-
hard to explain. isn't
How
it?
the best way I can put it is like.
I think
I love
yeah.
that I've contradicted myself there.
No, nurture is definitely the biggest impact. I think.
Let's say you grow up and then you're someone, when you're very young, who's like really angry and gets angry very easily. You're seen as an aggressive person, for example.
Yeah.
That is your nature.
Yeah.
That is your essence.
Yeah.
And no matter how much your parents try and influence and try and say, don't stop using that, you know, it's bad to be aggressive all the time.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's who you are.
Yeah.
So is it possible for them to destroy that part of you? Because isn't that always going to be who you are at the end of the day, no matter how much nurturing they put into trying to get you to lower it?
Yeah.
Unless
Also,
the nurture. Oh, sorry, carry on.
well, because we're so like civilized, I keep saying that. Because you
alright,
have to
it's
go
alright.
to school and you have to have teachers.
Yeah.
You have to respect teachers. If you want to earn money, you have to respect a boss. You have to suppress like your more nature animalistic side. So like, say you just think like, oh, I could easily just punch that person,
Yeah.
take his food. You can't do that anymore in this world because there's police.
Mm.
You'll get arrested. You can't just do stuff like that. It's not like a Viking society
There's
where
equality.
you just the person that can swing an axe the most is going to win.
Yeah.
So like, you had to suppress your nature. Say, because I know I could easily just say to that person, I'm just going to bonk you on the head. You can't stop me, but you can't because you'll get arrested nowadays. So
Yeah.
you have to use your intelligence, which is nurture, because you're not born intelligent, are you?
No, that's true.
All your intelligence is based on learning through life.
That's true.
That's a good,
Yeah.
argument. Actually.
Yeah.
So even if you're a really strong person,
Survival of the-
self-determined,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter nowadays because you can't break the law.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Survival of the strongest has changed its definition, definitely,
well, yeah.
from physical to
So what?
everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So more nurture now than nature.
Definitely, you have to be brought up to know to like respect your elders, to know when to say yes, to know when to like just bite your tongue and say I have to do this because he's in charge.
Yeah,
That's all about nurture. If you're brought up to respect your elders,
that's true.
and that's how you get far in life, by knowing when if you know someone's wrong and you just do what they're telling you because you know they pay you at the end of the day, then that's how you get far in life. It's no longer about saying like, no, you're wrong, I'm gonna punch you. You can't do that. It's not a thing.
To an extent, yeah.
Do you
I mean,
think
you can get far to an extent, but you can't.
do you think
there's other ways as
right
well.
and wrong is now down to nurture? Do you think we're born knowing that like killing someone
no,
is wrong?
I think
or do you
it,
think we're told
I think
that it's wrong,
society
so we believe it?
society itself, the way that you're supposed to act is down to nurture, and people, you know, if you're born without knowing all these aspects and without people saying, oh, this is right, this is wrong, you do your own thing without knowing that you're doing something good or something bad because you're just doing what feels right to you, without having any kind of inference or any kind of perception or kind of awareness of what you're doing. So I would say we're born with our nature, and nurturing affects how we think and makes us kind of more aware to what we're doing.
Do you think that if someone was born and grew up like outside of society almost, so they had never heard a woman cry,
Yeah.
and then when they're older and they're like functioning normally and they have their own decisions and stuff, and they heard a woman, do you think they would naturally know that was a bad thing, or do you think they would just think that's a strange noise?
What do you do when you're
I guess
walking in the hills and you hear a strange noise? You react to it.
It's
don't you?
down to individual.
But I mean, do you think
Some
you would
people might
naturally
run
know,
to
like,
it to help, some people might run away thinking, oh, that's scary. It's down to your essence, which
It's
is your,
unknown to
which
me,
is
I
your
bet
nature.
That's nature. Like when turtles are born on the beach, they just naturally go to the sea. No one, their mum's not
Yeah.
there like going that way. That's like
Yeah.
that's like built into your DNA.
Yeah.
Like you think,
Then
it's raining. I'll
If
get
their
out
mum,
of it, or-
if their mums went out up to them and said, no, don't go towards the sea, then that would be nurture.
yeah,
so nurture is a modern thing almost. It's society is what is needed to be nurtured.
Yeah. In order
Nature
to kind of
is
control
where to swim,
nature.
how to swim.
Society controls the nature of who we are by nurturing how we think. To an extent. It's quite cool. Well, that isn't cool, but I'm saying it's cool to think about.
yeah.
Yeah. Choose next one.
Wrinkles in the natural.
That is I agreed. Write that down.
I naturally know that
You
wrinkles are
agree.
delicious. Just write down how many times
I only
say
said
your
his name once.
Yes, I said it.
So I just answered the question.
It's an alias, really. And they know that.
You're an alien.
Alright. Oh.
His parents really like the fish.
They won't know
The
that.
barracuda fish.
Yeah, what did I ask? Oh yeah.
Whenever you ask these questions, I think you should explain deeply what
Yeah,
you're
that's
what
I
you're
think.
asking. So we
Okay.
don't like try and answer any question. Just say keep it to the point. We
I'm
have to
trying to-
answer your question.
I'm trying to do this on the firelight, which is the worst thing. Okay, so the law of attraction, the concept is if you're someone who always thinks about money,
Yeah. Oh, you're more likely to make money.
you're more money to make money in life because you're wired into seeing ways into making money. Would you say that that concept in itself is true, and that your thoughts create your reality in the sense that if you're very money orientated, you'll always find ways to make money?
I think yes, but not
Much
in a way.
more than someone else.
Like, have you seen? Because there's a film about that, isn't there?
Is there?
There's a film about it. How if you start thinking about it every day, if you put a poster up in your bedroom, you'll see it, and then eventually you'll just work towards it without knowing. Like, you think,
Unconsciously.
£1 million. I want £1 million.
Unconsciously.
You'll eventually have £1 million. I think it's right, but it's not that they're going, I want £1 million so much that they're just like, oh look, £1 million. It's that they're every time they might buy something, go, shouldn't buy this. I want £1 million. So they don't buy. They go, oh, I should take this job opportunity. I don't like the job, but it's £1 million. They're just making it go towards it.
And they don't even think about that, actually, in the back of their mind.
If I was there going, I want a girlfriend, I really want a girlfriend, and then every day you're thinking, I'm going to talk to that girlfriend, I want a girlfriend, you're going to have a girlfriend eventually.
Yeah.
If you're there going, I want £1 million, you're not going to be like, oh, I have a girlfriend. Brilliant. That was random.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Whatever you want, if you're thinking about it most, you're going to go towards it.
I guess so.
Like bugs to a light.
Yeah. That's a really good way of putting it, yeah. Yeah, I guess so.
Sorry, now you guys can talk, 'cause I kind of
I'm just trying to
stole
think
that
how
one.
to kind of... I'd say that is true. I'd say because you're wired into that way of thinking, whatever it is, you'll always find ways to kind of bring it into conversation, which makes other people think about it, and then makes other people go, oh, I know a guy who is really good with money, or is good with the business, and then that will draw you closer to your goal.
Yeah.
Unconsciously, because you're money orientated, you always speak in a way where it's money focused, even though you might be talking about something completely unrelated. Like, let's say you were talking about a football match. Because you're money orientated, for example, you'd be talking about, oh, but how much would it cost to get in, blah blah blah, and how much do they earn? And people won't pick up on that and go, oh, he is someone who thinks about money a lot.
That's always my first question, how much?
Yeah.
Someone says, do you want to do this? It's always, how much?
Yeah, I think Andy will one day have the money he wants. Because you always want more. You want more.
I guess it's better than asking for less.
But the thing is that in this film, I really can't remember what it's called. It's really annoying. But in this film, there's a guy and he believes in it. But he at first
Is this
he had
Limitless?
no, it's
That's
a
when
true
he takes
story.
a
It's
pill,
like an
isn't it?
actual.
Yeah.
That's why he takes a pill and whatever he wants happens.
Yeah. I'm thinking of something
Oh
else.
no, this is a true one. People actually believe it, like it's a thing. He has a board of all the things he wants, and he puts a picture of a house on it that he thinks is amazing, like his dream house. And then eventually, like a few years later, he's like forgotten all about it. He's like moved a few times, so it's in a box. And he moves into a house and he packs it up. He takes everything out and he gets this board out. And he sees the picture of the house and he goes, shit, that's this house.
Yeah.
Like he's moved into the house because he's
Oh,
worked
I
towards
see.
it
No, I think
without
I've heard-
thinking about it.
Oh god, that's annoying me because I've actually seen an advert for it, but I can't remember what it's called.
It's something strange.
That's really annoying. That's going to bug me now for the next few days because I'll be thinking, what is that movie called?
We'll find out.
Yeah. But-
Law, it's probably something like the law of attraction.
Yeah, something like that. That's really
Sounds
cool
like a
though.
film title.
Yeah. I bet lots of people think that's a chick flick.
Yeah.
The law of attraction, because it just sounds like that's what it would be. Yeah.
Or something about magnets.
Yeah.
I watched a really interesting television program the other day about a man who used to work in Iraq. He was out there as a British representative trying to get the Iraqis and the Afghanistanis to settle down. And he realised borders are the biggest problem. Because
What
if
way?
you draw a line on the map saying this side's this country, this side's the other country, it's not as simple as that. So like, if you let people live in their own societies, like village, and they're allowed to do what they want, then they're less likely to fight. But he said the whole reason there's a problem in Afghanistan is because originally the British and the French drew a line on the map saying this side's Russia, this side's Afghanistan, and that causes problems. So maybe one of the best ways to solve things is not have borders.
I can expand on that and say that I think, I'm not saying this is the only way, but I think one of the ways in which I think it might eventually come to this will be the fact that everyone, it gets to the stage where there's so many people in the world, and there's so many, people who have intermarriages and stuff like that, that everyone becomes the same race because of there's no more diversity, because the gene pool has become so kind of like.
I don't think you could. It would take.
Would that take?
It would take
ages?
so long. I don't think it would be possible, because if you think about it, like what Andy's saying, the line on the map caused people to see each other as different. When you see someone as different, if it's an individual, you might go, okay, that person is different, and I can see his issues. I don't like him. But if you see one person and you know he's from a country, you could say that person's different. I see his issues. That country has those issues there. You believe that country is wrong. That's what the war comes from. So if people are too proud, that's the problem. People are too proud because they're going to go, oh, I'm from here, I don't want to merge with that person, because they're not from here. If you got rid of all the borders, like Andy said, then it would work. It's just getting rid of those borders.
Yeah, which I guess is much harder to do than. But surely it's difficult because culture comes into it, religion comes into it as well, which also goes off into a different direction.
Who's wrong?
But what I'm saying is, I know it's really conceptual and something which probably, might happen, but it will take ages to happen if it does. Everyone becomes so mixed in the sense of kind of race that everyone's kind of like the same race.
I think race could change.
And because of that, very much like the South Park thing where everyone's speaking the same language and everyone's all the same race in the future, which was an episode. If that did happen, surely then that there would only be one race, and because there's only one race, there'd be one culture, and then maybe one religion. Would that stop it? But even then, people won't agree with that. There'll always be.
It's human nature to resist what you're told to think.
Is it?
I think
everyone says, "Oh, I hate the government." That's a stupid rule, don't they?
Yeah.
No one ever thinks like that. That government's perfect.
But surely everyone's individual, so surely it isn't human nature for people to resist, because some people don't.
Yeah, I don't think humans like being told what they have to do by someone else.
I guess so. Yeah. In that sense, yeah.
People in Somerset don't want to have to live the way someone in London tells them to.
I think you're right. Race would definitely be the first thing to go. Like, because there is views on races, like I don't say it because I believe it, but like some people might think, oh, black people, they're violent, white people, they're pompous, and Asians are smart, small. I think if it did mix enough, eventually it would be just like, well, there is no single person.
And plus you couldn't yeah, that's true actually, and you couldn't be negative to someone because they're the same as you as well. And actually because of that you'd empathise with them because they're the same as you.
You're just a small smart person. You're not Asian,
you're the same as me,
smart.
yet you might be more intelligent, or you might be stronger, or there'd be differences in kind of like mentality and physicality, but you couldn't. I guess there'd be less wars because there'd be less wars in race as well, because everyone's the same race, and then maybe eventually everyone has a very similar culture, and then everyone has a similar religion.
Although
I don't know.
It's not just race that causes like problems.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like there's so many other things. Like you can say the European Union, everyone was like the whole of the continent was under one government, but then it gets let down by like a place like Greece. There's an economic breakdown. There's so many things that cause problems: money, resources, people, overpopulation.
Yeah, it's true.
Although if it had time, it probably could happen, but the chances are we would probably destroy each other before merging.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is the problem.
Yeah, because due to overpopulation, there'd probably be like aggression and stuff like that, and then
just simple, like the differences in just simple like religion.
You'd have to have a perfect education system where everyone was taught the way the world is and how to make it better.
And that in itself is difficult to impede because there's so many different ways people are taught. Yeah. Okay, let's see what else.
It'd be interesting to have a group of like, I don't know, 100 people who were born, had never been outside influence, like they weren't born into Christian families. They were born into the group of 100, and then they were taught everything, like this is science, this is all these religions, you can pick whatever you want, you can do whatever you want, you can believe whatever you want. It would be interesting to see if they would pick one, or pick none, or pick...
Oh, that's brilliant. If everyone's brought up with all the knowledge of the world...
They weren't influenced like,
and they
this
weren't,
religion's
and
right,
again,
these are the others.
Again, this goes on back to the topic of nature versus nurture.
Yeah.
If their parents didn't tell them how to think, and people... They were educated on everything, yet they had no influence in what to choose and what was right and wrong. In doing so, surely they'd be more balanced.
That'd be like going to a boarding school,
in their
and
way of
where
thinking.
every day you have lessons. And one second you're in a lesson with a reverend who's teaching you about religious studies. Then the next second you're in a lesson where you're being taught about physics.
That's right.
And like, if you're intelligent, you'll take them all on board.
Yeah.
But you won't be like bought into one straight away. Yes.
No, you'd be open to the fact that yes, this is.
You can
good
take
to
all
think
the
about.
facts you're given, and then you make your own decision. You think, well, that sounds logical, or that sounds balmy,
Yeah.
or that explains why those people fight, those people get on.
Yeah. It's good to be open to it, and if you're just narrow-minded, I think that's what starts wars and conflicts, partly.
That's probably one thing that worked about us. None of us are set on. We don't. We're
good?
all open to everything.
Yeah, which is good because, like, Andy just said that now. If
Yeah.
we were really, if I was really unhealthy, I'd turn to him and go, "Well, that's a stupid idea. Why do you think like that?" Which there's no point in doing that, to be honest. Which is why it's good, to be honest, in so many ways.
It's all toasty.
Did you almost fall over?
Yeah, I tripped over a log. Right.
Sorry, I couldn't find the toilet.
Oh, this is one I haven't written down, but this will be cool to talk about. This is quite. Is there such a thing as destiny, or do you create your outcome? Do you choose your path, or is there a set path? Like with me, I believe to an extent you have a destiny, but you, at the end of the day, you get to choose what you do, whether to actually end up with what you're supposed to do, or just do a path and not do it. So I think you're born with... I believe everyone's born for a reason, but at the end of the day, you choose where you go in life, and at the end of the day, you could just choose not to do what you're supposed to have done. Which in the grand scale of things just could mess everything up, I guess.
Well,
because you're not doing what you're supposed to have done, kind of thing.
it depends what kind of destiny you mean, because if you mean the kind of if you decided not to have breakfast this morning, it was meant to be that way. You were meant to do that, so then later on you'd be hungrier. You would go to the shop. That was destined to happen.
Yeah. But
surely
another way,
then, by that chance, it's yes and no at the same point.
It is.
Your destiny is every decision you make, but you're making those decisions.
That's a good way of putting it.
So you're
So
deciding your life,
You decide your life.
but it was always destined to live like that.
There's I forgot who said it, but there's an article. There's an article saying that if you could go back in time, and you became a child again, but you knew everything that you wanted to do, you knew everything that you did up to that point, at the end of the day, you'd always do the same thing again because you enjoyed doing it.
Yeah.
And even though, you didn't maybe talk to that girl that you wanted to talk to, at the end of the day, in that present moment, you wouldn't have talked to her because you didn't
do
feel
little
it was
things
right.
like you wouldn't buy that thing because you know you broke it like 10 minutes later.
Yeah.
Or you wouldn't buy that pint because you knew it made you vom.
Yeah.
I think you do little things, but in the grand scheme of things, probably not. No, you say, oh, I'd revise more, but you probably get down to and be like, oh,
Yeah.
or like, why would I revise? I can see my girlfriend today instead.
Yeah.
But I think little things like, don't drive that way because you're going to have a crash. Drive the other way around, you'll never meet that car.
Yeah.
Or like, you'd think that driving test, just don't do that.
But it's funny because in itself, it's funny. It's quite. Yeah, destiny is always destiny because like with the article.
Did you eat them all already?
No.
Like with the
It
article.
really annoys me taking off every time.
Like with the article, if you did go back in time and you're a baby and you're aware of everything, it was your destiny to go back in time anyway to do that.
Oh my god, that's just too complicated.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I know. It's just taking a step further.
Although, there's the destiny like your destiny is to die at the age of whatever, because you're going to have a car crash and die.
Yeah.
Your decision is to drive however you want, but on that day, even if you're driving properly, a wheel's going to pop and you're going to crash and
Something
die.
would
Or
make
you're
you
going to
die.
drive stupidly, you're going to crash and die.
Oh, there's a thing for that, which is like a mathematical thing.
Was it?
Yeah, I remember getting taught about it. Oh,
Maths.
that's annoying. That's annoying. I can't think of what that's called. It links with probability, but I don't know what the actual concept is called. But it's like, if you're supposed to die on that day, in that certain way, no matter how careful you are, you're always going to die in that certain way. I can't think how to explain it any more than that. I don't know.
Unless it was like, you're going to die in this village, you'd just be like, well, stay fucked away from that place.
Yeah.
I mean, stay a beat away from that place.
Well, that's the thing. If you knew your destiny, could you change it? You'd be like, I'm going to stay away from that village
No,
I'm
because
going to die.
if you knew your destiny and you changed it in the end, how you reacted to it would be your outcome and therefore your destiny, because how you thought that was your destiny, but at the end of the day, how you finish was always going to be how your destiny is. So I guess you can't ever fully know your destiny, but when you finish, that was your destiny. Do you know what I mean?
Can I just ask something? I don't know if I'm being stupid. Is fate the same as destiny?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
Fate means that it's always.
It was fate for us to meet, but then was it our destiny to meet?
Oh,
Is it the same thing, or is it?
Fate's more like realistic and logical.
Yeah.
Like, you both go to the same school, like, fate together.
I
Yeah.
see.
Destiny's more of like a
Personal goal?
Destiny's more of like a fairy tale word. You say like it was his destiny to become the king or overthrow that
Alright.
person. That's more of something that's like.
It wasn't his fate to.
Yeah, it's not like.
Oh, it is.
Fate.
It's more metaphorical.
Destiny's more like something you say to reassure yourself before you go to bed.
Oh.
Whereas fate's more like.
Yeah,
it's
that's
pretty
true.
obvious.
Actually. It is quite story-like, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel
A lot of questions that people ask because they want it to be real. Like you want there to be a destiny.
Mm.
It makes you feel better when you go to bed at night.
Just like religion
Yeah.
for some people.
Help kids sleep at night. It's
Okay.
very easy to be all dark and say that though. Obviously, people
Yeah,
have
yeah.
destiny, they can.
Yeah. People,
Personally, I don't believe in destiny.
yeah, but yeah, people can think what they want.
You can manipulate yourself to. You can say you did that because it was your destiny, but in the end of the day, you did it.
I guess so. But like, think about it this way: people say, "Oh, it's your destiny to die in a car crash." At the end of the day, you could pick up a pistol and shoot yourself, and in doing that, that itself becomes your destiny. Because
So you're saying
Your
your destiny is
to
forever
shoot yourself
changing.
because you didn't want to die in a car crash. What a lovely destiny.
no, but I don't mean it in the sense where it's like destiny is death, but I mean in the
So
sense that
Destiny isn't a set thing. It's forever
more-
changing with what you do.
yeah.
I see.
So like people can say, oh, it's your destiny to become this, it's your destiny to become that. If you don't have a passion towards that thing, you won't want to do it, and therefore it isn't your destiny, no matter however much people say, oh, this is what you were meant to do. If you don't want to do it, you won't do it. So it isn't your destiny, surely.
But what if a destiny
If it is
a
your
set
destiny
thing?
and it's like, actually this is something I've liked and kind of wanted to do well before I even realised that people said that, oh, you're meant to do this, or this is something you'd be good at, kind of thing, it would reinforce it, wouldn't it? So I guess it works both ways, really.
Yeah.
That's quite. Oh yeah, that's quite cool. So quantum physics is like. I can't explain it.
I'll stay out of this one. Let you have it.
You can put your own insight in it.
If I have any ideas.
Okay. So quantum physics is like. The world is made up of cells and atoms.
And they're made up of quarks, anti-quarks, blah blah blah.
Okay.
And then they're made up of the smallest known particle from atom, which is I can't remember.
Do we actually know they're there, or just think they're there? Like we've proven, like looked at them, going, oh look, it's
you can never.
tiny quark.
It's basically physics that since they proved the atom, there hasn't been any great leap forwards. Like they do experiments to prove they could be there.
Like the double slit experiment.
Well,
So
that does prove stuff. That does prove the way.
Does it?
That proves the way particles move through the air.
Okay.
That proves that light moves in waves.
So there's no solid evidence like a murder weapon found on someone, but there's evidence like bloodstains on
No,
the
it's
person.
like
oh, this is
scientists believe in string theory, or they believe in the other one. I can't remember what it's called now, but they can't prove it.
Loop.
They- Yeah, recently there was the Higgs boson thing. Obviously, they proved that that's the smallest element, but they can't prove a lot of what they think.
There's a thing called the double slit experiment, which kind of makes quantum physics get really kind of confusing and really kind of like mind-blowing kind of thing to an extent. And it's basically it's an experiment where it's a laser, isn't it? And it's shot.
Yeah, and you have a series. You have a series of walls with slits in them. It's not a laser. It's not like a solid laser. It's a laser line. And it basically the light at the other end shouldn't come out the way you'd think it would, but it does because of the way light travels as a wave rather than a straight line.
But it also goes. It's also
Oh, so there's like holes but set sideways, and the wave kind of goes through them.
Yeah, so you could look through a piece of paper and you could see a way through, but you won't see the light the other side. The light gets broken up and broken up again.
But it goes even further in saying that when scientists were observing this, it did one thing, and then they did the experiment again, in which none of the scientists or none of the people doing the experiment were looking at it, and because of that, it came out with a different result, even though they did two different experiments. So from that, what they're saying is that particles, to an extent, have their own awareness, that they're aware that they're being observed. So like really small.
Yeah.
So like
the fact that
they did the exact same experiment again, without looking at it and without kind of observing the experiment, and because of that, it had a completely different result, and the light waves and everything reacted in a completely different way. And because of that, they're suggesting that particles are aware that they're being observed.
But surely that could be not the awareness of people, but the mere fact that they were there. Their physical presence affecting particles.
No, it wasn't that.
Like it could be, because
Like,
I suppose, yeah, there's just no way to...
It's because they were there, they were in the same room, they did have everything exactly the same, only the difference was the scientists turned around and didn't look at the experiment. They did the exact same thing, and it had two different...
I would like them to do more than two tests.
Yeah,
That's
no,
what
they
I want.
did lots. They did lots to make it fair. They did the first one about 20 times, so they did it a lot of times, and they did the second one the same amount of times, and each result were exactly the same.
What was the original question?
What is quantum physics, just in general? So like, yeah, just anything on quantum physics. There's a lot of people say like, because of that one experiment, it suggests that everything that we see is an illusion, because surely if we're not looking at the things behind us, the atoms are acting in a completely different way because we're not observing them.
Oh, what, like if a tree falls in wood, does it make a sound?
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yes.
But what it suggests is that everything is kind of like programmed to be the way it is, but I can't think of it. So very much like reality isn't materialized.
Well, like a PlayStation game where if your television screen's pointing that way, the PlayStation's not loading the whole world, it just loads what your character sees.
Yeah, in that way. So like, there are atoms in this blade of grass here. and they're all solid. They're all together and they make a solid, whereas the atoms in the water over there, they're all slightly a bit further apart and they create a liquid. But I mean, like, what defines a solid and liquid is the atoms. So surely, if atoms change when they're not being observed,
So a liquid could suddenly become a solid when we're not watching it.
or, you know, isn't it?
But no, I get what you mean.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, it opens so many doors to questions, which is why, you know, quantum physics in itself and the very makeup of our Earth might not be what it seems, kind of thing.
Have you ever wondered, like what Andy was saying with in a game, when you watch it, you can only see what your player is looking at.
Yeah.
Have you ever wondered that in real life? Like, you two are only here because at this point in time, I'm here seeing you. As soon as I went into a room and closed the door, the only thing in the existence is that room.
That's the thing.
Is everything else out there.
That's the thing, which also relates to the very fact, well, not fact, I can't say this.
It is
But
definitely.
it also relates to the other thing where we said that is the universe a projection? Also, to an extent, I guess. I don't know. I'm just trying to make links.
That's fucking.
Yeah, it's cool to think about. But yeah, if you think about that kind of stuff too much, it's kind of
Your mind will just
Melt.
up.
yeah. That's the thing, if there was something which, you know, be it a machine, a person or something else, that could tell you the secrets of everything and tell you why everything is how it is, would you want to know? Well, surely in knowing that, wouldn't that kind of make you kind of
Blow your mind
scared
too much.
or blow your mind too much to the extent where you go insane?
Like the evil Russian lady in Indiana Jones and Crystal Skulls,
Yeah, that kind of
where
thing.
Or-
the aliens give her everything she wants
Would
to
you
know.
want to know everything?
Or would it give you such an understanding different to everyone else that you would know particles so well you could walk on air because you know how it works, like you would think, well, they're there, I know how everything works. So you wouldn't be human, you would be, I don't know, you could
I guess you can kind of
understand things so
you
much
can
better.
change so much about yourself.
That's what you would do. You would ask, you know, like that Dynamo guy stood on the side of a bus with just his hand on it and he floated around London. People took pictures, everyone saw it. They couldn't prove that he was stood on a piece of glass or whatever. You would just be like, how does he do it? How does he do it? Like, he's obviously not gripping, he's not strong, there's no wires holding him. Or is
unless
there?
it's under his, through his arm. Not in his arm, obviously. But.
Another question which leads on to pretty much where we're going anyway, which is quite good actually because I wasn't even meaning to. But another question is, if you could ask 3 questions to something which knew the answer to everything, what question would you ask it to find out like an answer which no one could answer? Like, what is the meaning of life, or, you know, all these kind of things. Something,
If you could ask one question to know the answer to.
I was going to say 3, but I guess 1 will make it much more
Well, if you
easy.
asked 3, you'd probably have such a
Yeah, that's
broad
the thing.
horizon. You could ask everything, like what is
Okay,
human thought,
So-
and then what is life.
if you had 1 question, what would it be?
Nathan, you go first.
I'm trying to
I
think
don't, I
now.
don't know if you would want to go so big that you wouldn't want to know. If you asked what's the meaning of life and it said nothing, there is no meaning to life. You did whatever you want to know. That happens.
Yeah.
Like, would you want to know that? Or would you want to know...
I guess so.
When you want
because-
to know something that has a definite answer but no one knows, like you say you've dedicated your life to a subject.
Yeah.
Say I wanna write history books when I'm older, and I would say I would want to know the answer to a question that all historians dispute because I would know it, and then I'll be able to make loads of money off it. That's what I would want to do.
But could you? What, you would have no evidence other than you've been told that that's right.
You would find evidence to back it up.
But no one's been able to, that's why it's disputed so much.
That's what, yeah, but if you know the answer, it's easier to find out why. It's like algebra. You know what the answer is, so it's easy to find it. I don't know. But then what question would I ask?
There's so many questions, that's the thing.
Or you'd ask where someone's buried.
Yeah.
Or where's the Holy Grail buried?
Oh yeah, that's true. You can ask like for treasures and stuff.
Is the government? Oh yeah, that's a good point, actually.
Mm.
But then, yeah, I don't know.
Thing.
Hmm.
I think I'm going to struggle because there's so many questions I could ask.
What age am I gonna die?
Am I attractive?
That's a good point.
So-
That's a big thing people seem to be divided on.
Well,
When someone finds out that their family has a gene that could cause, I think it's Alzheimer's.
yeah.
Some people don't want to know. Like, they can do a simple test and say, yes, you're probably going to have Alzheimer's when you're older. Or they could say, no. A lot of people, like, it's pretty much 50-50 with people saying, I don't want to know, I want to live and then find out when I'm older. But a lot of people want to say, I want to know now so I can live depending on how the future's going to be.
Well.
Which would you choose? Would you want to know you're going to have Alzheimer's in the future, or would you want to live without knowing because you think it would affect you?
If it was like a disease which you passed on, then I wouldn't have children because I know they would have it.
Oh, I know what I'd do.
Ooh, what's that?
You ask it. You had one question. You ask it, how do I create a machine which answers every question I have in the world?
Can't do that.
And then you make it, and then you can just ask any question you want because it's yours.
Yeah, but that's like if you've got a genie saying you can have
Oh, I
one
guess
wish,
I'm going
you
round
say,
it.
I want 1,000 wishes.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
it'd be like, no.
Yeah, I'm going round.
Why not?
Because
Who
you're
put that
going
rule in
round
place?
it. It's not part of it.
Why not? Did anyone say you're not allowed to ask that question? You're not allowed to find that out? You said ask.
No,
any
but it's
question.
kind of like an unwritten rule, to be honest.
It's like if you could have one superpower, I'd have the superpower to make anything, even a vial of juice that made me super, like Superman. It's doing, like, it is a superpower. It's just so infinitely infinite that it's not fair.
Yeah,
That's the reason.
It's not cheating, it's like having the one ring.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna move on because I can't think of anything for it really.
What question should I ask? I'll tell you the question you can't ask anymore.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
The ability to do anything. I don't know.
I've often had a dream where I can run really fast, as fast as I want. So, I guess that one.
Would you have
But would you do it in the sense that you can run really fast and not lose stamina, or
as in I could just run as much as I want, like run faster than a human should be able to.
you could run on water kind of stuff?
Yeah, but also I never stop. I have this dream quite a lot actually. Right?
That's good.
When I first started having these dreams, I used to crash in stuff in the dream, but I've stopped now, which is weird. I like talking about it, but there you go. That's my dream, to be able to just not even run, just sort of like glide somewhere without thinking about just doing it.
Would you have like better reflexes?
Well, you have to run there. That's what was weird. When I first started having these dreams, I used to crash in stuff whilst running really fast.
Did you ever think about it as in like, what does it mean? Like, you think you're going somewhere in life really well, but there's something stopping you,
I just thought,
and now you feel
I just
you're
thought
just
I wanted
going.
to run faster.
I'm gonna go really quick. That's quite an interesting dream.
I like
actually.
that.
I
would
really
want-
like stuff like that. I don't like being like away from reality.
That's alright.
That's one of the few things I do get away from reality.
Do you not-
Dream.
Do you not like? What do you not like about it?
I like practicality. I think like when people say, oh, everyone should be equal and stuff, I don't like that because I don't trust other people. I'd rather like let me find it my own way and not other people have it, which is a bit selfish.
But I mean, at least you're aware of that, and I mean, at least you can say that, which is really good.
I think my
I always keep
superpower.
thinking you're offering me a drink when you
You
do
can have one if you want.
No, I'm good.
I think my superpower I'd want would be, you know of alchemy, right?
Yeah.
What, like the brewing of many potions and stuff?
Well, yeah, but
I know.
the conversion from the so if you had some mud, you could convert it into rock, but it would be the same amount of
Yeah, it's like
of equal value.
what you give is what you get. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think I would have that because I would limit myself with, like, I'm not going to turn this stone into a mansion,
Yeah.
but I'm going to turn it into a glass of water of equal value. I would like to be able to do that. That's
Try and have the bottle opener.
I don't know how I'd do it, or like what form the power would be in. But it's basically I'm just trying to think how I'd do it. I guess I could draw it, or maybe I could think it, but it's basically like I have a thought in my head and I go, I want this, for example, and then it becomes real.
Like the Green Lantern.
You got to think
I can't
though,
think what
if
that
you
is.
have those powers, you got to think when you have your power, you got to think like, oh, I need to be able to control it. So say you had that thinking one, it's like that advert where the guy touches everything in terms of skills.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to accidentally, you don't want to
You're
lose
sat on
control
a
of your
bus and you
power.
go, I wonder what happened if we crash, and then you crash.
Yeah, that's why it's good to think if you had a superpower, you want to be able to control it. So like my running one's like, I can run really fast, but I can't fly.
You want to be able to walk as well.
Yeah, I still want to be able to walk. I don't want to be like sat there and suddenly I'm just like.
But
And Nathan's one, like the equal value thing, like he would have to collect so much feces to turn it into a bit of gold.
Yeah.
Like he
other
couldn't just
stuff.
look at stuff and go gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I like that film Frozen. I know it's just a film,
I haven't seen it.
but she can turn anything to ice and she loses control of her power
If
Why?
she just freezes
Why?
everything.
because she doesn't know how to control it. So everything turns to ice
She
and everything
lives
just starts
thinking she
snowing.
should hide it,
Oh, I see.
and then she accidentally loses control and freezes everything. She doesn't know
Yeah,
how to
so
change
she
it.
has the ability to create snow and like make everything cold, which is really cool, but then she loses control, she doesn't know how to control it, and she literally sets the whole like of her kingdom, because she's a princess. It's based on like a fairy tale, like a medieval fairy
Yeah.
tale, which most of these things are.
Mm.
And she loses the ability to control when snow starts and stops, and basically she ruins the world.
Mm.
And then when she learns to control it, everyone loves it because she's
Oh.
making like an ice ring. So
Yeah.
simply, that's what she. 'Cause
I
she
guess
controls.
what it would be is I have like, let's say a sphere, but it's kind of like a sphere that's floating.
A gypsy ball.
Yeah, kind of thing. But it's like it's floating. But the sphere itself, I can look at it and go, I want this sphere to be a sword, and then it becomes a sword. Or
But then you
I
want
want
So you
the
can
sphere.
have one at a time,
yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
that one object changes all the time.
yeah,
See, that's good. You got to set levitation on your power,
Yeah.
so you can control it.
yeah. And then I go, I want this to be a potion which gives me this power, and then I have more powers.
But
and
you
then
can
I
only
could-
have it.
Yeah, but then you'd have to
turn it
collect your
back
week,
Fine.
because you've drank the potion.
That's a good point.
Or you'd have to hold on to the bottle and you've lost half of it because you drank half of it. Think about that.
What do you mean?
Right, so say you have
used
you have a
the
block
sphere.
which is 100% magic, yeah?
Yeah.
And you say to this block, I know you want to be a jar of potion.
Yeah.
You drink the potion, you've drank half the block of magic.
Yeah.
You haven't
So
got
you'd
a-
either have to collect that wheel again, or you've only got half the amount
Oh,
of
collect the magic again.
substance.
Oh,
yeah.
I see. So then I have wings, but then actually I have to change the wings into something else to be able
It's-
to fully
You have to
use
change
it
the
again.
whole thing into something new.
With it?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you have the sphere. If you turned it into a sword, you have the whole sword, and it turned back into the sphere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you turned it into a gun and shot the bullets, part of that sphere is gone.
You've lost
'Cause
bit of your magic.
Shot the bullet.
You've used it up.
If you
so if you
imagine,
drank the magic potion, you'd have to collect it again.
it's
Okay,
not.
okay.
It's not just the glass, like file that is the sphere. It is the potion
Okay, so
inside.
right, so the sphere itself, if it changes into another object, or I want it to change into another object, it reassembles and then becomes an object. So I
Yeah, so you
don't-
have to have all the bits to assemble it again.
Otherwise, it's coming out of your body. You've absorbed it.
But because it's a superpower anyway, surely it should be like
That
pretty
would be
much.
your
You got to set
limitation,
limits,
wouldn't
otherwise
it?
you lose. Otherwise you lose control. You got to think. About
If you
these
said,
things.
"I want to turn this sphere into wind," you're gonna have to fight. Like it would have to come back from the wind, or it would have to
Yeah.
be the tree that grows and kind of destroys the tree.
Shapeshifter, then.
You would be.
Shapeshifter.
Yeah, that's suitable.
That's a known one. The one I was trying to come up with is really conceptual, hasn't really kind of been done a lot, so I might as well just say something like shapeshifter.
Is that the one you were talking about? That like turn everything?
Well, to an extent it is, but it's not really what I want, but it's something which is similar to it, but kind of like more well known.
What if you had like a
I guess so, actually.
Actually, no, I
know what
suppose-
you said. If I did have that, it'd be limitless, and I could do so much with it.
I suppose it's
You
like
lose control
and that
straight
wouldn't-
away.
Yeah, it wouldn't be fair.
Someone
I-
else could pick up your thing that you forgot about and use it against you.
That's
the
true.
closest power to that that's been made is the Green Lantern power. He can make anything with his ring, like a big cannon,
Mm.
but he still has to
Was the Green Lantern any good?
No.
I don't.
Not really.
I don't like it. But yeah,
His weakness is yellow.
Is it actually?
Well, yeah, evil is yellow or something.
yeah, something like that.
Or
Evil
wood.
would be red,
In the
wouldn't
old ones, it's like wood or something. So Big Bang, he's like, oh, he can be beaten by a HB pencil. It's just started, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I haven't done it yet.
Don't use the one with the camera on. Do you want to pause it or? Actually, just carry on. Let it snow. Let it snow.
Let it go.
Let it go. I actually
yeah,
love that
whoops.
song. Let it snow. Let it snow. Let it snow.
I said
Was that well done?
No, that was very poor.
You should.
I built a new
Spread the
building, but in the process I knocked all the other ones down.
I spread them out so the fire was spread out more.
That's not what we wanted to achieve.
In Frozen, you know when everyone's going to the coronation kind of thing?
Yeah.
Have you seen Tangled?
Yeah, no.
Oh, what happens? I've seen it.
You've seen Tangled?
Yeah.
The boy and the girl who did like the princess or whatever, Rapunzel.
Yeah.
They go to the coronation,
Oh, really?
and it turns out the mum and dad of the queen died on a ship, and they were going to like celebrate the returning of Rapunzel in the other castle, but they sunk on the way,
Yeah.
and then that's why they come over.
That's really weird.
Because it really works on a map as well. It's like here and here, and then in the folktales. So they're joint, these two films.
That's quite cool.
It's quite weird.
Okay, let's see what
I
else.
shouldn't know that. That's too much Disney.
Yeah.
That is.
There's a lot of
God damn
like,
it, Vicky.
That's cool and sad at the same time.
Interesting that they thought that much into it. But sad.
Okay, we've talked about religion. We've talked about the brain. Okay.
Because,
Oh.
how do you think the world will end? If it ever does end?
Oh, that's a good one.
Black hole.
Do you think black hole?
I
Yeah.
think if the world does end, it's due to our own doing, basically.
Human annihilation.
Yeah, basically.
That won't end the world, though, it'll just end the people living on it.
Okay,
But,
civilization.
but possibly, depending on what the outcome is, it could destroy everything.
Well,
Well,
If you could
it
create a
could
laser,
destroy
someone
the
could
universe.
create a laser just like the Death Star and destroy the planet, and that's down to human doing.
Yeah, the Hadron Collider might just blow everything to shit.
Yeah, but there's a lot.
yeah, the
There's a
Hadron
lot to-
Collider did actually make a black hole, but it was so small it impacted itself in seconds.
Hmm.
Like, it consumed so many particles, it filled itself up so
So-
quickly it just disappeared.
They're like saying the chances of that killing us is like 1% or something. So even less than 1%.
It never was, it was just like a big, exciting thing.
So yeah, I think we kill ourselves, but yeah.
Like nuclear war or just.
Well, I mean, it's just so many human.
Overpopulation.
I think there's so many aspects of human nature.
What do you
Greed-
think is the end of the world?
Greed
literally?
could be one. Power. Kind of anger.
What do you mean by end of the world? Do you mean end of humans? Or
Okay,
end
we'll
of
do end of
life?
civilization and then
Okay, end of
End of-
civilization would kill.
like end of humans and
Yeah.
the planet.
That'll just be war.
So not global warming or.
No,
Global warming has just been happening on and off anyway.
yeah, global
No,
warming's like a natural thing. Like all the CO2 that we released used to be on our atmosphere anyway.
Yeah.
That's the point.
The ice sheet, the ice used to come and go as well
Mm.
all the time, even when we weren't there.
But do you think it would be a factor pushing us into killing each other? Like we're going to slowly run out of food because it's getting too hot and the
Yeah.
sea's rising and
I think
we're just gonna be
it's-
like, we need stuff.
Nah, humans are too. The rate it happens is slower than the rate humans
Yeah.
Do you
develop
think
new
we're too
technology.
adaptable?
Like we're thinking
We're too
developing cities on water, developing cities in the air. I think we'll
Not
always
even that.
find-
We can make food now without the sun, so we don't depend on the sun anymore.
Mm.
True.
I think we'll always find ways to survive, but at the same time,
Just if the average man can afford it, and
Yeah.
if the governments are kind enough to think we're gonna make everyone afford it.
because we're always altering our world and we're always altering nature, and because of that, I think eventually it's going to get to the stage that we're just going to kill ourselves if we change too much. So something like Terminator could happen, where we develop AI to the extent where it knows too much, or we destroy ourselves because of creating a virus which can't be stopped, or something like that. It will be down to human influence, basically.
Did
Human
I
error.
tell you
Yeah.
about the scientist who's he used a test tube with bacteria to show humans.
Yeah.
So you have a test tube and it's filled with everything the bacteria needs to live, basically. So it starts off with 1 and it divides into 2 and then divides into 4 and then it keeps going like that, and then when you get to a point that it's quarter full, it thinks, okay, it's quarter full, it's got 3/4 left, it's going to be ages, but then the next second it's half full, and then it's completely full. And it says just before the 99%, so as it's half full, it's only got that like an extra second to live, so it makes 3 more test tubes with everything it needs to live. But those 3 test tubes only gives it an extra 2 seconds, because it fills up the whole one, it fills up double, it fills up all 4. So just from being half full over a whole minute, it fills up 4. It's really hard to explain, because by second by second it's doubling.
Yeah.
And by
so without the others, one can't really happen, kind of thing. So it's kind of like,
even though it's halfway full in one,
it's kind of like a domino effect.
Yeah, like you have,
isn't it?
2 humans living on a planet, but then the amount of humans increases quicker, so the humans that realise they were getting close to the end earlier
create 2 more planets.
Yeah, they need double the amount, but then they need 4 times the amount, then they need 16 times the amount, then they need... I'm not that good at maths, but because it's like if you... The best example was that we said in maths, there's a question representing square, and a man gives his daughter a 10p for her like 5th birthday. He says, I'm sorry I didn't have any money. From now on I'll give you double the amount every year. So the next year it's 20p, that's fine. The next year it's 40p, that's fine. But by the time she's 30 years old, it gets up to millions. Because if you double, it gets so much bigger exponentially. So it goes 10p, 20p, 40p, 80p, £1.60, then £3. Yeah. It's still not a lot, but then it gets to like tenner, 20, 40, 80, 100 and something. Then and like the amount, it doubles so much quicker. That's what they realised in China. That's why they did the one-child thing. Bring the population.
That's really cool, actually.
Like, their population's starting to decline now.
Yeah, their economy is based on a boom. So they're not having enough people to fuel their economy. China's going to fail.
Too many men to women as well, isn't it?
Yeah, they have too many men. Brazil's the next one. Brazil's the next big China.
It's actually.
Because they have so much natural resources. The rainforest and coal and oil.
Where is it with the city that's doing like really well at the moment, but it's in the middle of the desert?
Oh.
Which city's that?
Dubai.
I was thinking Dubai, yeah.
That's the only place, like only city without a water course, but it uses up almost double what a normal city does, because they have fountains and they're so amazed by water.
Because of the amount of oil that they have in Dubai.
You think they'll be fine, or?
Well, no, they already, because of how much